Plants. You eat them, use their oils for cooking. You use their products for clothing and cosmetics. Use them for shade, for building houses, for medicine. You use the oxygen that they provide us. But how much do you actually know about them? Plants are classified or grouped by scientists in a similar way to how we as humans are classed as a separate group from the reptiles and the insects according to our physical characteristics. As you would have noticed when looking around your garden or up and down your local street, plants are very diverse. However, most plants are multicellular, have cells that have a membrane-bound nucleus, have cells that have cell walls, and most plants make their own food. There are two main groups of plants within the plant kingdom, the vascular plants and the bryophytes. Bryophytes are mosses, hornworts, and liverworts, the types of plants you may find in moist areas when you are walking through a rainforest or that you might see on wet rocks. You may, however, also find these type of plants on drier areas such as brick walls, on paths, and decaying wood. Sphagnum moss is highly absorbent. It was used during the First World War as a dressing for wounds and boils, and it is currently used in the horticultural industry to make the soil more acidic and to hold water. Many of the plants we know and see in our gardens, however, are vascular plants. Humans also have a vascular system called the circulatory system. The circulatory system in humans transports blood and lymph around the body. Vascular plants have water and food conducting tissues organized into vascular bundles that carry liquids and nutrients around the body. The plant's special transport cells are called the xylem and phloem. The vascular bundles can be seen easily when you cut up some celery. In the leaves, the veins are the vascular tissues. But just like animals can be classified into smaller groups such as marsupials and mammals, many of the vascular plants can be classified further into the following classes: angiosperms, conifers, cycads, ginkgos, and ferns. Ferns are found in mainly wet areas and often require moisture to reproduce. They do not produce seed like many of the other vascular plant families we are going to learn about. Ferns can reproduce by sending up shoots from their rhizomes, which are underground roots, or reproduce via spores. These spores are found in the small clumps or spots that look like they are stuck under the frond or leaf of the fern. Certain types of ferns are eaten in countries such as New Zealand. The young shoot of the fern or the tuber of the plant, which is in the roots, is eaten. Ferns can be quite poisonous, so only people who know what they are doing should cook them. Cycads, conifers, and ginkgos belong to a group of plants called gymnosperms. Gymnosperm means naked seed, and these plants are found in the fossil record to be older than the flowering plants. The reproductive processes for cycads and conifers are similar. They have separate male and female plants, and the pollen from the male cone is transported by wind or insects to the female cone. Cycads look a little like palms and are often highly toxic, containing neurotoxin and carcinogenic compounds. Many cycads grow in tropical environments, and the seeds are also used by some Indigenous people in northern Queensland for food and for ceremonies. Conifers are plants such as pine trees and your Christmas tree. These plants predated the angiosperms. They often have narrow leaves or leaves reduced to scales and produce seeds on the scales of the woody cones. You all know what a pine cone looks like. They do not produce fruit, but some produce berries. Softwood timbers come from conifers. Softwoods are easier to cut and shape than hardwoods, and so are often used in the building industry. Some native conifers are the Wollemi pine and the Huon pine. The bunya pine has a cone that can weigh up to 10 kilograms and was used by the Indigenous people of the wet tropics as a source of food. Conifers are used by humans for their oils. You might find conifer oils, such as pine oil, in skincare products such as cleansers, toners, and moisturizers, also in antiseptic. Oil of turpentine is extracted from the resin or sap of some conifers. This is a solvent also called terps, and can also be found in the vapor rub your mother probably put on your chest when you were a child with a cold. Juniper berries are also used to treat illness and to distill gin. Ginkgos are also gymnosperms and can be traced back to 150 million years ago. The ginkgo has fan-shaped leaves, and the plant produces fleshy coated seeds. These seeds really stink when they are ripe and have a fishy taste. They smell a little like the cheese you put on your pasta or rancid butter. The plant is, however, used as a medicine to treat many conditions. Angiosperms are flowering plants. Flowers can be bright and showy or not look like flowers at all. Flowers contain the sexually reproductive parts of the angiosperm plant. These plants develop seeds inside the flowers, and this part of the plant eventually becomes the fruit or nut. Many plants in your garden are angiosperms: rose bushes, fruit trees, grasses, cactuses, strawberries, and fig trees, to name a few. Most of the fruits and vegetables we eat also come from angiosperms, as does cotton that we use for clothing. Many crops are also angiosperms. We use the seeds of canola that you see in the photo here to make canola oil. The yellow you see is the flour. Crops such as wheat and barley are also angiosperms. Some flowering plants such as banksias hold their seeds in cones that were once the flowers of the plants. These flowers of the lemon tree will eventually form into a fruit once the flower has been fertilized, and this fruit will become the lemon that you eat. The seed of the lemon is contained within the fruit.